Now you might remember about 3 months ago I did a video where I said I would give away my trusty old Sony A7RII digital mirrorless camera, and today I'm going to announce the lucky winner of this piece of shiny photographic history. It's a legend, really, is this camera.
I'd say, yeah.
So how should we do with this? Oh, can you give us a drum roll? Looked like a dog doing a doggy paddle. Just go like that. That's pretty good, yeah. Keep going. Build the tension. Oh, that's good. And David Barber. Congratulations, David. This now belongs to you. Hope you like Sony. I don't know if he even shoots with Sony.
Well, he must, because he wanted it. He's on the mailing list.
Well, he's on the mailing list, but I mean, I just randomly pulled a name out. You know, it could be anyone who subscribed years ago, right? They might shoot with Nikon or whatever. They might hate Sony. This could be quite unpleasant. I mean, I'm going to email him and just see if he wants it. Like, if you don't want it, well, then there's no point doing this video, is there? It looks stupid.
Let's just send it to him randomly.
Well, I need his address, don't I? Oh. So hopefully you like Sony cameras, David. Hopefully you're actually a photographer. It might have just been someone who subscribed for the shits and giggles. You never know, do you? But as I said in that giveaway video, it's just the camera. The lens is not included.
No!
Yeah, I mean, that's worth like 3 times what the camera's worth.
You can't just give a camera without this piece.
No, that's just how it's done now. Well, you sell them like that. When you buy them, you buy just a camera. They don't give you a lens.
What are you going to do with this then?
I'm going to keep that and put it on my Sony A1. It's brilliant. Brilliant lenses, that.
Sorry about your luck, Dave.
But I mean, you know, it's a great camera. Like I said in the giveaway video, the LCD screen doesn't work at all, and the EVF does work. But it's a bit smashed. Like there's some sort of glass around the edges, so just be careful when you stick your eye in there. You know, it's like health and safety and all that lot. But you can see the picture clearly through the EVF, and it does work. The shutter works. Everything does work. And I'm going to include 7 batteries, because you know it's a Sony A7RII. You know, if you want to shoot for 15 minutes, you're going to need all 7 of those batteries fully charged. Anyway, I'll put that lens back on because I know that some of you get very anxious when the sensor is exposed like that.
Really, he should just hang that on his wall as like
an ornament.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Or you could like auction it off.
What, for profit?
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Make some good money off that, Mr. Fototripper.
I mean, if you don't want it, you know, let me know and then maybe I'll eBay it.
No, you're giving it away.
No, yeah, no, I'll get it's yours, David.
It's Christmas. Be kind.
Is it? It's not Christmas?
Will be. By the time he gets it. Probably not even.
Yeah, Christmas 2023. Hopefully he lives somewhere in eastern Canada. Probably not. Oh, it's going to cost a bloody fortune, isn't it? I don't think this through.
It looks like you don't want to let it go. I mean, some good moments with that.
Yeah, it's been some magic moments with that, love. Even some with you. Yeah.
I want it.
Sorry, David. No, we're only joking, aren't we?
So you might get this, Dave.
Anyway, let's go and shoot this beautiful waterfall, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So the plan is today to go to this place called Egypt Falls. And for once, we're prepared. We're covered in bug spray. We've got the thermosol switched on. We've got our bug nets. Just because we thought there was a chance it might be as bad as Mira Falls. It's already worse. As soon as we got out of the truck, swarms. But we should be alright, because we're prepared. We're determined to not let these blood-sucking bastards ruin our enjoyment of a spectacular waterfall in the summer. Is that right, love?
That's right.
Let's begin.
Well, I better put this back down. This is my life in Nova Scotia.
It's actually a rather spectacular forest, just bursting with vibrant greens. They're almost painful on the eye. And there's actually a few rather large trees, so a lot bigger than I was expecting and somewhat gnarly. If I find a really interesting one, I'll give you a close-up of it. And if it's really good, I'll log it in memory for a foggy day.
Once we'd cleared the dense forest, the bugs weren't too bad, and neither was the trail.
Now, if you read the reviews on TripAdvisor, you'd be akin to thinking that this was an absolutely treacherous Raiders of the Lost Ark dangerous trail. But I think it's nothing compared to the climb that we had to do a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I don't really need a rope, so it's not that bad. One person was whinging about the quality of the rope, as if it's some kind of national park that you pay for. It's free! Stop complaining!
We soon caught our first glimpses of Egypt Falls, and I have to say it is really quite special. But let me explain why I then decided to just walk away.
The first thing that I like to do when I get to a waterfall, especially one that I've never seen before, is that, I walk up to it and I get my eye full, but then I like to walk away from it. And the reason why I do that is because what I'm trying to look for is a composition that features the surrounding area, not just the waterfall, because I just find those kinds of compositions far more compelling. So I'm looking at things like this tree and the root system, and then I'm also looking at the rest of the river and the rocks that are in the river, because maybe I can get in the river and use one of those foreground rocks to create another cascade of water, just to balance out the composition so it's not just some huge cascade with not much around it. The only problem with that philosophy is you end up in the water immediately. It will be way easier to take all of the other compositions first that don't require me to get my feet wet. But in this case, I've already seen a couple of ideas that I'm really excited about, so I'm not really going to bother spending any time right in front of that cascade. I'm going to get further downriver, get my feet wet, and try and find a really interesting frame for this spectacular cascade. Let's see how that works out. Right, love, I'm just going to go into the river there, see if I can get this shot. I'll only be about 5, 10, 15 minutes, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's this stuff?
What's that stuff? I believe that's like and subscribe.
I think it's moss.
No, it's a lichen. Subscribe.
Oh, like and oh,
yeah. It's been a while since I got my sweetbreads in a river, I'll tell you that, and it's it's quite chilly. Strangely, not as cold as some of the creeks on Vancouver Island. I was quite surprised about that. So, as you can see, where I am now, hopefully you can see this green mossy rock in the foreground. To me, this is a lot more interesting than just standing slap bang in front of the waterfall, but I don't think this is quite as good as I was hoping. However, if you just see over there, see that little bit of water there that's just going on the edge of that beautifully green mossy rock, I think that would make a beautiful foreground. Only problem is, I think the water's about 4 feet deep there. I don't really fancy getting that deep, but you know, I'll do whatever it takes to get the shot. So I'm gonna just move over there and try that spot. Maybe I'll just take a quick test shot here, but I think that's going to yield far better results almost immediately. It's a little bit of sun creeping in right now, so this might get really nice. Unless it's too much sun, then it won't be great. Well, just as I'd hoped, this has actually turned out quite well. I managed to put a waterfall in front of a waterfall. So let me just explain this composition. I'll just stick my beak in here. So, try and ignore my hand. So what I've got is this lovely sort of duplicate. There's the main waterfall, that's Egypt Falls, and I've managed to find a spot on the river where I've got another waterfall, which is really, it's actually just tiny. It's maybe, I would say this whole span is about 24 inches, but because I've got super low and I've got quite close with the 16mm and I'm zoomed into, I'm at 16mm, it just magnifies it. And I just love that balance, because you've got, I would say in the frame, that is almost about as wide as Egypt Falls. So the balance to me seems really good. Now I could get closer and it would be too wide, or I could get further away and zoom in and then it would be too small. This is why I've picked this particular spot, and this is why I've got as close as I've got. So what I love is I just love these colourful rocks, all these little leaves and moss growing out of them on both sides. So it's kind of the main waterfall and then this mirror waterfall. They're nicely bookended by this splash of green and this form here, and then these over here, and we've got a little bonus waterfall there, so that adds a nice little bit of added dimension and action. Now you're seeing the focus on the foreground here. Let me just shift the focus to the background a little bit so you can see what's going on there. And the only thing that I don't like, obviously this is overexposed, is this little Triangle of Pointlessness. What is it about forests? The Triangle of Pointlessness plagues me. I try and compose my shot so that this doesn't happen, but it's here, it's in this frame. I could always just fill that space in by just kind of cloning in some of this greenery. I think that's what I'll do. It's completely cheating. I totally accept it. It's a cheat. You can call it photoshopped, you can call it a fake, whatever you want. I don't care. I just admit that I do it. But if I didn't have that, to me this would be a perfect comp. Let me just darken it down a little bit. I'll just stop down a little bit so you can see what's going in at the top of the frame. I just love all of these trees that kind of arch in from the left. All of this bright green spring colour in the top of the frame and then in the sides of the frame, introducing this waterfall and that waterfall. Now I know you're sick of listening to me whinge about bugs, and that is why I'm going to say honestly, they haven't really bothered me that much. I thought that this would be a hellish experience. It really hasn't been that bad. Anyway, so I'm quite happy with this composition. I'll process the image, and if this shot turns out to be any good, here's the shot.
I did clone out the Triangle of Pointlessness, but post a comment and let me know if you think I should have just left it in.
Alright, so I'm rather delighted with that shot. Now I've just looked further downriver and I can just see another potential kind of similar concept, but if I can find a nice foreground down there, what I've got is the added bonus, because I'm further back, of having this lovely little tree arch in from the right, just to give me a little bit of splash of colour and just a little bit more form and flow. We'll try it. It may not work, but again, it's in one of the deeper sections. What a surprise.
Well, I did try that shot, but honestly, it was crap. So I walked back to the falls to find Amanda, and that's when I saw my next shot. But I had to be quick to capture it before she realised. Shot, and I really liked the added detail of those remembrance poppies. What a beautiful place.
What did you think to that then?
I like it, and I didn't get eaten by bugs.
You didn't?
No.
Well, I thought they were a little bit worse in the bush, but once I was in the creek there, it didn't bother me at all. But we did cover ourselves with poison, so maybe that just worked.
Well, I like this place more, and it was easier to get to.
It was definitely easier to get to, and we didn't lose as much blood. Anyway, I'm really happy with the shots that I got there. I hope you learned something. If you've got any questions, feel free to post a comment. I reckon we're done here, so shall we hike back up the hill?
Okay.
Oh, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it the old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to tickle my bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!